I am here with Pam, who's been a type 2 diabetic for about 5 years. She was and still is on Steglatro and was on metformin 2,000 milligrams, which we'll talk about. And her fasting glucose was generally 120 to 140. She's been working with me for about 7 weeks now. This past week started weaning off her metformin. So you drop down to 500 milligrams and still maintaining your fasting blood sugar this week at between 101, and it was nice to see that 101, but between 101 and 112.
Yeah.
So after roughly 5 years of being diabetic and to start weaning off your meds like that, and actually I'll throw this in because we just talked about this before we started. Like when we first started, you were saying you were 63 and feeling like you're 80. Now you feeling more like your age, and I think probably the most important part, can feel better about keeping up with your 2-year-old granddaughter. So nice. How does all that feel?
Yep.
Yeah. So how
Feels great. And I started walking back in, so
good?
great.
Yeah.
I love all the energy. I can keep up with her. We go walking. And in fact, we walked 2 miles the other day and it didn't even seem like it was that long.
Awesome. Good to hear. So I want to remind yourself and tell everybody, because I think it's a good reminder to have your important whys, your big whys, to get you to stay motivated to do the things you need to do. So you had mentioned like your big motivators were it was starting to affect your vision, your neuropathy, but also I think probably even bigger for a lot of people, your diabetic grandma died during amputation, your diabetic mom died from cancer. Your 19-year-old granddaughter is diabetic. I'm going to throw something out there for you. I don't know if I throw it out there, but I think it's a good reminder for everybody. I mean, not to bring those things up, but to use them as motivation. But
yes,
some people won't connect diabetes to cancer. They are both clearly metabolic issues. So there is a big connection there. So again, sad that those things happen, but okay, how do I prevent those from me and my family and the ones I love? So yeah, realizing that yes, cancer is definitely a metabolic issue. So it's tied right in there. Some of this stuff I just talked to Cheryl about a lot of stuff, and they're going to be some of the same things, but I think on purpose. So anybody that if I sound like a broken record, I'm not apologizing. Because people need to hear it. And like a lot of times I heard that thing 10 times or 500 times before it finally clicked and I actually did something about it. Most of the diabetes world is kind of almost hypnotized into the manage your diabetes idea. And I don't think most people even realize that, like how much they're stuck in that and how wrong that is. So like, in your experience so far, and as we say a lot of this stuff, I want you to think about like, hey, you or people like you, even 2 months ago, 3 months ago, compared to what you know and have experienced now, like think back that 2 or 3 months or the last 5 years, what would you say the difference is between manage your diabetes, especially for the last 5 years, and fix your diabetes for the last 7 weeks?
Laziness is for the, hey, I'm honest.
No, it's good. It is good to know because that is a factor.
It's easy to go to the doctor, let him tell you, yeah, your cholesterol is high, your sugar is high, you need to get it down below 7. I mean, back in last March, my A1C was 11.5, and in last last October, it was like 7 or 8, I think. So when I go back to the doctor again, I'm hoping with everything that has been going on the last 7 weeks, it'll drop down below and he'll say, okay, you're doing something right. Take off total medicine. So
yeah, and that should be the case. If it's not, I'd definitely be curious because A1C basically should reflect your glucose numbers, which like we've seen, like I said, went from 120 to 140 down to okay, and we saw them gradually dropping, and now they're between 101 and 112. So yeah, that's definitely going in the right direction, and we're going to continue working on that. Yeah. So if anybody who's watching this, if you got questions, definitely put questions in the comments. you have comments, put them in the comments. But put fix in there if you would like to stop managing your diabetes and fix your diabetes. Um, you've only known me for roughly the last 7 or 8 weeks, I believe, or did you?
Yep.
Uh, yeah.
No.
No, because you didn't. Because I remember that call too. Because you're like, oh, you do the ladies fitness, and because I also recently worked with somebody. They're like, oh yeah, I had gone to your class, and so no,
Okay.
that was not you. So that said, yeah, you've only really got to know me mostly through this,
Yeah.
um, in the age of pandemic and everything else, in the age of Zoom and Facebook
True.
video. So that anyway. Um, what would you say to people that don't know me? Meaning, like, hey, why would I want to go to Paul to help me with my diabetes? Um,
Because he's there to help you get off of your medicine, get your nutrition back up. He's honest. He'll tell you to a point, to a fault. Even though we've all heard it 500,000 times, it just takes one person to really talk to you, to ask the right questions. And because sometimes we go to the doctor, we say, we're fine, I'm okay, you know. But if you know the questions to ask, like you do, and like even with me, sometimes I make a mistake. I'll eat like cornflakes or Rice Krispies for breakfast and not realize the fat content that's in it or the sugar that's in it. So it's he makes me more aware because now I look at the fat. I put something in, I'm thinking about eating, and I'll see that fat go up. Oh no, 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 no. So I'll find something else to eat. So I've been doing really good on that. So you
awesome.
can trust him.
Yeah, and I really mean this. I said this before the call, but again, I don't want to just be like sound like I'm fishing for compliments. I do want people to understand, like, that don't know me. Hey, why would I want to do this? Because part of that is in diabetes, but in a lot of stuff. Like, I tried everything. I tried everything. I tried everything. And people have tried a lot of stuff, but to say, okay, why would I want to try working with him? That said, too, I'll say to you. And anybody else out there that I work with, if there's something I can do better, seriously, let me know. If there's something you feel like I did wrong, let me know sooner than later. Yeah, and I would say most people towards that are hesitant about that, or they out of empathy sugarcoat it and almost lie about it. And I'd rather say, like, don't sugarcoat it, just to the point.
Yeah.
So. All right, and you just mentioned physical activity a little bit. So I want people to have an idea, but also, yes, is physical activity important done right? Is it important done right for diabetes? Yes. Is it required to really fix your diabetes? No,
No.
not. That said, yeah, I encourage it. But so, like, towards that, so in the last 7 weeks to do what you've done, you said you started walking, which is great. But like, so from week one to week to now, like, how are you at physical activity? What would you say?
Okay. Like when I first started, like I said, I was being lazy and with COVID and everything else. And it was cooler, so I couldn't take my granddaughter out for a walk. So we would play in the house and stuff. So it was like normal play. But now we go outside, we play ball, we go for walks around the yard. We'll go for like a 2 mile walk up and down the street. And if we walk around their complex, then she usually walks with me. But if we go on the sidewalk, then I put her in her stroller and we kind of walk a little bit faster. But I'm not as winded. I can walk without stopping, having to run in the house, go to the bathroom or whatever. But um, I have more energy.
Yeah, and for most of the people I work with, and just it tells you who I work with. Most of the people I work with, probably one of the biggest motivators is keep up with their grandkids.
Yep.
Absolutely, and that's awesome. Yeah. So I do want to keep anybody watching recorded live. Well, this is all going to be recorded. So I definitely want this to be a start of a conversation and a start of somebody turning things around and going in the right direction. So if you want to work with me, put Paul in the comments, and I'll follow up. If you feel like you're a couch potato and you think you can't do this, but now you realize you can do this, put couch potato in there, and I'll follow up. Uh, Another important thing is letting people know that you did not cut carbs to do this, did you?
No,
No.
nope.
So when it comes to, and we started talking about starchy veggies more and more, but I'm not. I'd have to go back and look. I know you're having a lot of fruit. Have you started introducing at any point before I even said it the other day, like things like
Um,
potatoes or what?
the rice I have, potatoes not yet.
Okay.
Because I'm a potato holic, so if eat a lot of, I mean, French fries is I still dip into the French fries every now and then, but not as much as I used to. So
Yeah, to do be clear on that, and I'm gonna do this is confession a little bit for me. I get grocery delivery these days, and I ordered a bunch of potato stuff without looking at it. So canned yams, which people might think this is crazy, but I would say, well, I'll clarify it in a second. But canned yams in sugar, like it's just yams and sugar. Now,
yep,
most diabetics are going to be like, or diabetic practitioners are like, no. Hear me out as I say this. But then I also bought some sweet potatoes, but I also got some sweet potato fries. And looking at the packaging, and anybody be careful, they looked good. So I didn't look carefully. I got them home and I look, and they got a bunch of junky oils in them. So I was like, ah. So especially for French fries, like, yeah, if they're just potatoes and salt, um, great. Or if they're just sweet potatoes and salt, great. Now, to clarify, like, so I'm not freaking everybody out, to know, like, yes, um, to really fix your diabetes, you should be reintroducing things like starchy vegetables and fruits. Now, a lot of times people are just like, that's a their experience is like, no, absolutely, that's I can't do that. There's no maybe Pam can do that. I can't do that. The reality is, like, again, keep coming back to it, but again, I'm going to hammer this home till everybody gets it. Context. So it's not necessarily those starchy veggies or those fruits that are spiking your sugar, your blood glucose. It is the context of your balance of macronutrients and your other nutrition. So when you get that wrong, fruits and starchy veggies spike your sugar. When you get that right, they not only no longer spike your glucose, but they're actually good. And even putting that in another way too, seriously, if you're avoiding starchy veggies and you're avoiding fruits, your metabolism is getting worse. So definitely things you want to introduce, and when done right, you can and should introduce back. How are you feeling with the fruit and stuff like that?
I eat it in moderation, but
Mm-hmm.
I do. I have the little fruit cups.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll eat those like a couple times a day, and then I have a banana, an apple, um, some melon if I can get it fresh. Um, I bought some frozen pineapple and stuff like that. So I've been kind of doing a variety of different fruits. And but I've noticed one thing too, because I used to get home from an afternoon and I'll be watching TV with my daughter and I'll go to sleep halfway through a movie. Now can I don't have that sugar highs and lows. It's more constant. So I don't fall asleep as easy. If I fall asleep, it's because I'm actually tired from all the moving and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I think that's and I've actually been there. So sometimes it's yeah, you need a nap because of what's going on. But yeah, I think you recognize the fact that yeah, like I shouldn't be that tired. I'm just having a crash, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, so it's nice to recognize that and to yes, we're I mean diabetes is a metabolic issue, which means an energy, a cellular energy, which means your energy. So yes, it's good to recognize that your energy is improving. Awesome. So yeah, so if you're having like if carbs is off of your list right now, and you would like to be able to add carbs, put yes to carbs in the comments there. What would you say again, thinking back to like what you were like and where your mindset was 2, 3 months ago, up to 5 years ago, and somebody like that saying, "Sure, Pam did it, but I can't do it." What would you want to tell those people?
yes, you can. be more consistent with what you do and be confident in yourself that, yes, I can do this. Because I'm one to sit back and say, hey, I can't do that. That's too hard. Or that's, and I'm finding out that if I put into it, that I can do anything. So it was just meeting Paul and getting the right motivation going to make me want to take care of myself better.
Yeah. And I will add to those are all great things. I would say I'm going to add a couple pieces to that, which we did talk like, especially I was just watching our video on the beach there, or when I was on the beach. Sorry, I was on the beach anyway.
Yeah,
You
take me
you were in
to
your shop, but and you've definitely done these things. But I think it's important to remind you and everybody else. It starts with a commitment, and then from there, what with that commitment, being courageous. Because you don't have all the skills, and maybe you don't have all the confidence. So, in a general way, yeah, being confident, yes, make that commitment and be courageous and do what you need to do. Yeah, um, sure. And so, again, continue to get people to start a conversation to turn things around and use this as a kind of springboard. So, if that sounds like you, if you want to make a commitment and be courageous and make this happen, put "I can" in the comments, and I'll follow up with you. So again, I'm going to keep using that idea, but it's a lot of times it's very easy to be like you're in your mindset where you are now, and almost to forget what people were like or what you were like, not too long ago. So for those people, what would you say when they're thinking it's just too difficult? Maybe Pam, or maybe it's possible, but it's just too difficult. Especially like a lot of times people just think, oh, I got to eat perfectly. I got to eat like twigs and berries and stuff. So what would you say to those people?
oh no, you eat the foods you like. You don't really have to diet. You just have to learn to moderate it a little bit, but you can do it. I mean, I'm a big one. If I go to the grocery store, I buy for the kids because I have 3 grandkids and a daughter that lives with me. And then I babysit at my other daughter's house, and she has 3 kids and her husband and herself. So it's like I eat healthy at one place and not so healthy at the other. But now I kind of make sure I have healthy foods there. So I have that choice. I don't get, okay, like I come home the other day and she made chili. Okay, chili's good for you. It's soup, it's warm, not too bad because it's beans and turkey and stuff like that. So I ate that without feeling guilty because it was there. And I didn't have to cook. And it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I'm not cooking this late. So, but I mean, yeah, just you can do it. If you have to have meal preps done, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's good for you to realize that environment matters for anybody. It makes a
Yes.
difference. And so it's good to hear that, where your environment wasn't so good, that you're adjusting that. Good. Yeah. So, yeah. So, again, if you want to have a discussion to dig into that a little more about, it's not as hard as most people think. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's definitely not as hard as most people imagine. So, but not that hard in the comments. We'll follow up. Why do you think it's important for people to hear your story?
Because they hopefully it'll reach somebody that can connect on the same level that I am. Go, okay, she's 63, I'm only 30 something, and I don't want to wait till I'm her age to start doing something about it. So, I mean, you can start it at any age, but even my 20-year-old granddaughter that's diabetic, she was 19 when I started this, but now she's 20. But she is my healthy one. She'll cook the scrambled eggs with the spinach in it and stuff like that. And she'll say, Mimi, you want this? Yeah. So she'll put me a little portion on my plate, and that's what I'll eat. And so, you want toast? Nope, I don't want toast today. Just the eggs and spinach is fine. So she kind of helps me, and she's helping herself in the process because
Yeah.
she's learning the nutrition side from me, the vitamins and stuff like that.
Yeah. Knowing what I know, I cringe a lot of times, and I struggle with, and a lot of times when I put the effort, and what drives me, like, all right, how do I get through to these people? Because I do see the people that are, whether it's brand new to type 2 diabetes or they've done it for a couple months or a couple of years, and I see the direction they're going in, because then I see the other people that are like, yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they're still struggling with it. And so, like, yeah, any time is a good time, but yes, it would be nice if those people that just pre-diabetic, just got diagnosed, stuff like that. Like, all right, let's
Yeah.
nip this in the butt right off the bat. Yeah, definitely. Um, and even towards that, like, bigger picture, sadly, most of this country still thinks you cannot reverse or fix diabetes, and that's clearly not been true for. I mean, it's been clearly documented since the at least the 1950s that you can clearly reverse and heal from type 2 diabetes. Sadly, that's been those waters have been very muddied since then. But again, it's very possible. And
Yep.
anything else that you think that type 2 diabetics out there need to hear?
Like when I would go to my doctor, he's more concerned with my weight. He go, if you get your weight off, your sugar will come down with it because type 2 diabetics are caused because we are overweight. And we carry weight around our middle or around our, our hips and stuff. So yeah, losing weight is important, but I'm finding the nutrition is more important because even though I'm doing better with my eating and doing the nutritional supplements and stuff like that, I'm not dropping the weight yet, but I've dropped like 3 pant sizes since November. So, I mean, it's going somewhere. It's coming, but it's just not. And I've noticed my waist size is like an inch smaller than what it was. So
Yeah.
it'll come. You just have to trust in yourself.
And I think probably anybody watching this will say, like, three pant sizes is a lot. Like, again,
Yeah.
compared to, like, a lot of times people, it's like, oh, I want to drop 50 pounds, I want to drop 100 pounds, or wherever different people are. But I will say three pant size since November. I will genuine and I don't do fluff, so I would say genuinely nice job. But also towards that, I just actually got on a call with somebody, and kind of what you said, I want to hammer home too. She's like, I want to drop 30 pounds and get off my diabetes meds. And I said, both of those are great goals, but hear me out. I want you to make them two separate goals.
Yeah.
I don't want you to tie those together. Why I say that is because whether it's blood pressure or cholesterol or diabetes or a lot of things, a lot of times people like think that the weight has to come off for that to happen. And when they struggle with the weight coming off, they never get to the other part. And so, yeah, is it, and we'll stick to diabetes, but really there's a lot of other things too. So great. It's
Yeah.
great to lose that weight. And would that be good for your diabetes? Yes. Does that weight have to come off to fix
No.
diabetes? No. And like you said, I like calling them, one of my coaches calls them needle movers. So this program is definitely about needle movers, meaning like, hey, what's the least I can do that's going to give me the best results? And so, yes, is physical activity important? Yeah, but it's not the most important thing. Is losing weight important? Yeah, but it's not the most important thing. Now, I'm not discouraging those things, but I'm just saying, like, hey, they're not required to fix your diabetes. So it's important to understand that. Especially, I see it all the time. People that are like, they're thinking, if I can't lose weight, I'll never fix my diabetes, and they never get any further. So
Right.
to really realize that. How's the neuropathy?
Great. I That lamp really works and the foot baths work.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because we really hadn't talked about either one of those, so I was going to follow up with that. I'm going to say thanks for sharing.
um, you're welcome.
All right. And again, anybody put a comment, put a question, follow up. Let's get this conversation started.